Welcome to my space. Let's take 3 deep breaths together, gather our energy back from wherever we've been. Draw it in on the in-breath. On the exhale, you're going to see if you can spiral down in or wiggle down in, or go ahead and sigh or hum your way down into a lower space inside of your body, bringing your consciousness with you. So here we go. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, dropping down, spiraling down into a deeper, slower space inside your body. You can imagine an elevator slowly descending into your body, or drop a pebble in a very calm lake. Imagine that pebble sinking to the bottom. Deep breath in. And try humming, see what happens. Home. Tone yourself home, home. Deep breath in. Home. I am here. Welcome. It's really important for me to slow down before I start these things. So just inviting you on my own journey of how I bring myself back into my body, into my home before I offer thoughts to you. Today, I want to chat a little bit about sovereignty and feeling sovereign of self, trusting your intuition, knowing what it is that's right for you. There's a million ways to do everything. And funny story, when I was growing up, I had to clean the bathrooms and dust. Those were my chores, and I hated both of those intensely because there was a very right way for me to accomplish that task in my mother's eyes. Now, I get it, Mom, no problem. But as a kid, thinking there's only one right way to clean the bathroom, there's only one right way to dust, created all of this tension and anxiety inside of me about accomplishing this task. And to this day, I still hate dusting and cleaning bathrooms. But I will never forget, this was probably 10 years, 12, 15 years ago. And my best friend and I, we both have 4 kids. We both homeschooled. She's from Idaho. I'm from Montana. We have a lot of similarities. And as we mothered and homeschooled together, we spent a lot of time together. And I remember we were hanging out one day at her house, and we were going to have another friend come over, and she's like, "Oh shit, I need to go clean the bathroom." And I'm like, "Clean the bathroom?" We're like, "That person's coming in 3 minutes." She's like, "Yeah, no problem." She grabs the wipies, she cleans the bathroom. It looks as good almost as if I would have cleaned it for an hour, the way that in my brain I still knew you have to clean the bathroom this way. So that is a really funny story around the idea that we have all these systems in our head of how things should be done, how life should be lived, how we should believe, how we should behave, how we should act, how we should do the dishes, how we should keep our house clean, how we should raise our kids, how we should run our business, how we should behave in the world, how we should be with our bodies, what we should eat, what we should need, how we should exercise, how we shouldn't exercise, how we should be in our spiritual practices, a million ways. And there are as many ways to do a thing as there are people on Earth, 8.6 billion at this point. So how the fuck do you choose what is right for you in the world if you're not tuned into your own intuition? Most people check out and follow a leader, whether that's an exercise guru or a spiritual guru or a parenting guru, and we have given our authority to a guru to follow and believe, and then we adhere to their standards, and it feels safe to us. So I want to introduce the thought that being sovereign of self actually feels free. And most people are not really after freedom. They're after safety. So you might be thinking you want freedom, But what you're probably really wanting, if you're not breaking out of molds, then you're probably just wanting comfort and security. If you are the type of person that constantly is pushing the edges, you are moving your way out of the next thing all the time, you are the black sheep in your family, you maybe are an entrepreneur or an artist, you're probably actually after some freedom. And one of the books that I read that shocked me around this idea that not every human wants actually to be free was Pedagogy of the Oppressed. And if you haven't read it and you like that sort of thing, it really gives a beautiful description of why humans actually prefer oppression or a guru or a dictator or somebody who is telling them how to behave, a priest or a religion or a parent or a partner. And it's because you don't have to be as responsible for your actions if you're following someone else. We can pass the blame off onto the other. I have a little bit of both in me, but I've always been, you can look at it as settler or pioneer. I've always been a pioneer in everything that I do. I always am looking for the next thing that I'm following to find my truth and my path in the world. Another personal story on this was I was really good friends with a woman in ministry, and she was a fantastic minister, but she was threatened by the way that I was constantly pushing the envelope in our religious context, looking for why is this true? How does this make sense? What actually is love? How does Jesus actually mean this, this, and this when the context was this? Like I was constantly questioning. And we had a conversation one evening, and I remember her saying, "Why can't you just come away from the edge?" And I said, "Because I know where I'm going, and it's out beyond the fence." And it was not too long after that that our relationship broke, and it was the right timing and the right way. But if you are a person who's after freedom, who's seeking truth, who wants your own truth, not to just follow the rules and the guru and the systems, then it's scary. It's scary, and you know that. And you're probably not listening to me if you're not that person, honestly. Um, but if you are, welcome. Even if you aren't the pioneer, if you're more of the settler and you're comfortable in just following a guru, maybe that's why you're here and you want me to be your guru. And I'm going to constantly say, I don't know what is best for you in your body, in your life. I haven't lived one single second of that. You have. So, how do we know what's true for us, what's best for us in the myriad of things that we could subscribe to or ascribe to? And one of the ways that I teach people is to slow down, drop into your body. Your body is going to tell you the truth about what you actually want or don't want, what you actually like or don't like, what you actually need in this next moment. And you will find your truth if you start listening to the body, whether that's, I call it pussy power, womb wisdom, dropping all the way down into that pelvic bowl and learning what is my fuck yes and my fuck no from an embodied space, not from what I was taught up here, not from what culture or society or my religion or my family of origin has said or my partner. What is true for me? What is a yes in this present moment? You can learn to tune into that, but you have to learn to slow down, drop underneath thinking, underneath even sensation sometimes, into this space of what does a yes, a real yes, feel like inside of me? What does a no, a real no, feel like inside of my body? So let's practice together. Let's take a few minutes and I'm going to lead you in just a little bit of a meditation, a guided meditation. In my guided meditations, you never, ever, ever have to go anywhere in your visualization or your inner world that you don't want to go. I am not in control of where you're going in here. I might suggest things. If it doesn't feel right to you, don't do it. If it doesn't feel right, but you feel curious, you can springboard into where inside of you or what wording works for you. So keep connected to your truth, even as we're in a guided meditation, right? So here we go. Let's take a few deep breaths. Just notice your inhale and your exhale, how your body moves on the inhale and how your body moves on the exhale. Couple more of those, just noticing what does it feel like for your inhale and your exhale. Now I'm going to invite you to just move back and forth on your sits bones. Feel where your butt is connected to the chair. Just notice that. You can tighten that pelvic bowl just a little bit on the in-breath. And on the exhale, totally relax your tailbone, relax your whole pelvic bowl. I am here. Notice if in this moment you feel safe enough to really sink in and just be with your body, with your sensations, with the sound of my voice. I am here. Now we're going to do something together. I want you to think of an opportunity that has recently come your way that was a true, full fuck yes, I want to do this. But I want you to stay connected to what your body feels like when you think of that full fuck yes to the opportunity that came forward. Here we go. Be in your body. Think of that moment where somebody asked you to do something or you had an opportunity and it was a full fuck yes, I am doing that thing. What do you notice in your body? What do you notice in your low belly, in your pelvic bowl? What do you notice in your belly? What do you notice in your chest? Take a couple of deep breaths. You're just cataloging what a full fuck yes feels like in your body. Let's do another one. Can you think of another moment where it was a full fuck yes, I want to do that thing? Not sort of maybe, but a full fuck yes. Bring that thought into your awareness and notice your body. Everybody senses these things a little bit differently, but you can practice this and you can get good at noticing what does my body feel like when it's a yes. Now let's do it again and we're going to feel what it feels like when there's a no. So here we go, dropping down into your body again. Spiral down in, wiggle yourself down into your body, slowing down. I am here. I am right here. Noticing your body, noticing your breath. And as you relax into the present moment, into your chair, just feel that relaxation. And I want you to remember somebody asked you to do something recently and it was a full fuck no. Whether or not you said yes or no doesn't matter. You knew in your body in that moment it was a no. I do not want to do that. Notice what happens in your body in that moment. Notice maybe even what's happening in your brain as you're trying to focus on your body If you're a people pleaser, this might be a little bit rough for you. You might be rationalizing why it's not okay for you to say no and ignoring what your body's doing. That's how you learned to be a people pleaser, was to ignore the truth of you and override it with all the reasons why you're supposed to or need to say yes to somebody else. So just take note of that if you have people pleasing in your history. It's all good. You can learn. The first thing I suggest for people who are actually people pleasers and trying to figure out what if a no feels like, a fuck no feels like inside your deep embodied space, um, like in our women's circles or in my coaching packages, what I suggest doing when we're working on that is to not feel like you have to say no. If you have been a person who hardly ever says no, you're always overgiving, you're saying yes to 1,000 things you don't really want to be doing. If you're that person, what you're going to do to practice learning what a no is you're just going to slow down. When somebody comes at you, you're going to be like, what would I really say to this if I felt the freedom to say yes or no, actually? And for many years, I think this took me like 2 or 3 years before I got good at in the moment actually saying what was true. But I watched myself first, like, ooh, that's a no, but I'm going to say yes to this. I know I'm going to say yes to this because I don't know how to disappoint this person in front of me. So I watched and I just let my body get used to the feeling of, oh, that's actually a no. I don't really want to do that, but okay, I've trained myself to do things I don't want to do, and I'm just watching this pattern for a long time. So then I got good. The next step for me was noticing and slowing down on my answers to the yeses and nos. If somebody was asking me something, I'd be like, oh, thanks for that invitation. I still do this. Let me think about that, or I need to check my calendar. Even if I know that it's a no right away, I give myself time to just be like, hey, let me really think about that. Um, yeah. So those are just a couple of hints. And then I ground myself into what's true. And if I feel like I have the capacity to actually handle saying no to this person, then I will practice that in a way that feels like I can do that when I'm resourced instead of on a spur of the moment thing. So you have permission to pause the yes or the no. But even before that, if you're not at a place where you've ever practiced pausing a yes or no and letting people wait for your answer, then I would just get used to, oh, here's an invitation. What's happening in my body? What is a true yes or true no answer on this? And I'm just going to watch my body and get to know myself. So you're taking the journey of know thyself, getting to know you, tapping into what would be a true intuitive yes or no. And here's the other thing, since we're talking about intuition and sovereignty and freedom, um, one of the things that is important is that you don't have to have a reason why it's a yes or a no. You don't have to have a logical reason. But if you're like me and you grew up in a place where it was very logic based, intuition was shunned, um, you needed to have an excuse, a really good excuse for why you weren't going along with the program that everyone else was going along with. You learned to override all those sensations of this is an intuitive no, and I don't really know why yet. And that is also something to just keep practicing. And you have permission, if you need it from anybody, you have permission to just be watching, like, there's an intuitive knowing that this is not right for me. And yeah, I could probably come up with 1,000 reasons, but also you don't have to. You just know, like, this is not for me right now. Um, so those are important skills to really just start playing with. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't push farther than you feel safe to do within your own body or your nervous system, especially when you're in the presence of the other. You're just getting to know yourself. So let's take a couple of deep breaths. Drop down in, come back down into your body, into that lower belly, womb space. Feel yourself on the chair. I am here. You have permission to begin noticing what is an actual fuck yes, fuck no, true yes or no from your embodied knowing in a moment. There's a lot of story I have on this. I started practicing my intuitive yes and no, following my intuition for my life path really young, and then had periods of time where I shut it off because I was married and I was trying to be a good wife, and then getting divorced and following my intuition and building my business and how I'm parenting. And your intuition will sometimes lead you into scary places, and that's hard as well. But if you learn what does it feel like for a fuck yes moment or a fuck no moment or an intuitive, this is for me, I don't even know how or why or if it's going to work or how it's going to work. Now that I really have landed in trusting my intuition in decision making and in relationships, and I'm not making excuses for it, I will say that when I find myself in difficult spaces, and I'll be honest, I'm in a difficult space, I have followed some real major intuitive flow in the last year and a half. And I know that I know that I know that it was a fuck yes for me. All of these different things that I said yes to that were presented to me, that life presented to me. Like I can tell when life is presenting something to me. And I know I've practiced it long enough that I know inside of my body if it's a fuck yes or a fuck no, even if my mind is freaking out about something. So as I followed these yeses and some no's, some really big no's, um, I have landed in this space where life is expanding me and it feels scary. But because I know that I know, and I've gone back over it 100 times when the fear kicks in, like, how is this going to work? And am I going to be okay? And is this all like, is this part of the divine plan or my soul's plan in my life playing out? Because I know that I can trust my intuitive yeses and nos, I know that what I'm experiencing right now in this expansion stage, even meeting some of this fear, is actually for me. I'm 100% sure this is for me. It's for my evolution. It's for my expansion. It's for, yeah, it's just for me. Life has called me into this space. I followed it from a deep intuitive knowing, my intuitive yeses and nos. Do I use my logic? Yes, but I use my intuition way more. And I don't know how long I've been talking at this point, but I will say my astrology chart, my human design chart, my 16 personalities chart, all of it is lens towards a more intuitive life. So I will say some of you have a more logical based energy system working for you, and you love the logic and like if you're a Virgo, you probably love that. So I'm not saying that everyone needs to live life like I'm living it, right? Like I just said this at the beginning. Don't make me your guru. I'm just giving you my life stories. I'm telling you how intuition works for me. I've had a few clients recently come to me and just say, can you help me learn to trust my intuition a little bit more? That's actually why this video is here, or why I was prompted to speak about it. But what I really love is for you to know you. So if you aren't interested in figuring out how to live intuitively, I still would say you need to drop into your body and figure out how to listen to your body. But there's a different way that that will feel inside of you than somebody who's got a lot more intuitive nature or pull towards being a more intuitive nature versus somebody who may be a computer programmer or an architect or something very heady mathematician or that kind of thing, right? So that's where I would say, know yourself. Look at your human design chart. Look at your astrology chart. Look at your 16 personalities chart. Own who you are. And then I like the human design because it's actually got a section that says, where do you know your gut knowing, your sense of yes or no? Mine is sacral. And that is no surprise to anybody who knows me. But there's also solar plexus knowing and different ways of knowing, even in the human design world. So that can be fun to play with as well. So I just give you a whole bunch of information. Um, Practice dropping down into your body, even if you are a more logical, heady person. In the dropping into body will give you a deeper connection to your entirety of your whole self. And you will feel more aligned, you will feel embodied, you will feel like you're living connected to the world and your part in it in a really more beautiful, flowing way. So, thanks for being with me on this little journey of dropping into body, feeling what a yes and what a no feels like, learning to be sovereign of self and feeling a little bit more courage to actually access your own truth for you. And whether that's looking for an exercise routine or a spiritual path or um, the way to clean your bathroom, right? Or which herbs to use, or what doctors to choose, or really literally how to parent, how you want to parent. Literally, you're going to actually end up choosing something that feels in alignment with you anyway. You might as well drop in and be like coherent and alert and awake to what part of me is drawn to this system? What part of me is saying yes to this? There's a deep intuitive knowing in each one of us in what we feel resonant with, and then what we choose, and then feeling like this is helping me evolve. This is unwinding old pathways for me so that I could step into more confidence of being me in the world and bringing my gifts and my breath and my presence to what is alive. If you have more questions about that, please contact me. I would love to play around with that with you, create safe spaces for you to get to know what is your intuitive yes or no. Or feel free to check in with my best friend, Erin Lindsey, who does astrology readings. And I've got somebody who's working on human design. I can run a really basic human design reading for you. Um, or just pop on 16 Personalities online. There's a free test for that, and start playing with some of your own energies around your logic, your intuition, but activating that inside of your body, not just your thinking. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Let's take a deep breath together. I believe you know what is best for you and for your body if you slow down and tune in and listen. I will return. I hope you do as well.